Most people think muscles exist mainly to create movement and produce force. However, modern biology increasingly shows that active muscles also function as a major communication system throughout the body. When muscles contract, they release signaling molecules called myokines into circulation. These biochemical messengers influence multiple systems beyond movement itself, including metabolism, inflammation regulation, immune activity, brain function, and adaptation processes across the body. This is why muscles are increasingly recognized as an endocrine organ rather than only a mechanical structure for movement. The body is not simply reacting to exercise externally. Contracting muscles actively communicate biological information throughout the system. Movements therefore change more than strength or appearance. It changes signaling, regulation, and adaptation across multiple interconnected physiological systems. When muscle fibers contract during movement, they release biochemical messengers called myokines into circulation. Myokines are signaling molecules produced directly by active muscle tissues that help coordinate communication between muscles and other systems throughout the body. These signals influence how different organs respond to physical demand, energy use, inflammation, recovery, and adaptation. Instead of functioning only as a structure that generates force, active muscles continuously send biochemical information throughout the system during movements and physical activities. The amount and pattern of signaling also change depending on factors such as movement's intensity, frequency, duration, and overall activity levels. This means movements do not simply burn energy mechanically. Contracting muscles actively changes internal biological communication through signaling processes that influence regulation across multiple physiological systems. Active muscles influence inflammatory regulation throughout the body through the release of signaling molecules during contraction and recovery. Some myokines help regulate inflammatory activity by influencing how the immune system responds to physical demands, tissue stresses, and recovery processes. Short-term inflammation is a normal and necessary part of adaptation because it helps coordinate repairs and physiological remodelings after physical stresses. However, prolonged low-grade inflammation is associated with aging, metabolic dysfunction, cardiovascular disease, and reduced recovery capacity across multiple systems. Regular muscle activities help regulate many of these processes by continuously producing signaling activity connected to movement and adaptation. This means active muscles are not only producing force mechanically, they are also participating in the biological regulation of inflammatory balance across the body through ongoing biochemical communication. Active muscles play a major role in metabolic regulations because muscle tissue is one of the body's largest sites for glucose use and energy management. During movements and contraction, muscles increase glucose uptake and influence how efficiently the body responds to insulin and distributes energy resources. Myokine signaling released during muscle activities also contributes to metabolic coordinations across multiple systems involved in energy regulation and adaptation. Over time, regular muscle activities help support metabolic flexibility, energy balance, and physiological responsiveness to changing physical demands. Reduced muscle activities can gradually alter these signaling and energy management processes across the body. This means muscles are not only structures for movements and force production. Active muscles continuously participate in metabolic communication and energy regulation throughout the system. Active muscles influence immune system activities through continuous biochemical signaling during movements, recovery, and adaptation. Myokines released by contracting muscles interact with immune pathways involved in repairs, inflammatory regulation, tissue maintenance, and physiological resilience. The immune system does not function independently from movements and physical demands. Active muscles help coordinate communication between physical activities, recovery processes, and immune regulation across the body. Regular movements therefore affect more than strength or cardiovascular capacity. It also changes how biological systems coordinate adaptation and recovery responses over time. Reduced movements can gradually alter these signaling patterns and affect how efficiently the body regulates recovery and physiological stresses. Active muscles are continuously participating in communication networks that influence immune system behaviors throughout the body. Active muscles influence brain functions and adaptation through multiple biological signaling pathways connected to movements and physical demands. During muscle contractions, signaling molecules released into circulation help influence processes associated with neuroplasticity, learning, adaptation, and brain resilience. Physical activities are also associated with increased production of factors such as BDNF, which supports neuronal adaptation and communication within the brain. Movements change blood flow, energy regulation, metabolic activities, and signaling patterns that affect how the brain responds to stress, learning, recovery, and environmental demands. This means physical activities are not only producing changes in the body mechanically. Active muscles continuously participate in biological communication processes that influence how the brain adapts and functions over time. When muscles become less active over time, signaling activities throughout the body also change. Reduced muscle contractions lead to lower production of many movement-related signaling molecules involved in metabolic regulation, inflammatory balance, recovery processes, and physiological adaptations. Because muscles function as active communication systems, reduced movements gradually alter how biological information is distributed throughout the body. This does not only affect strength or physical capacity mechanically. It also changes coordination between systems connected to energy regulation, resilience, adaptation, and recovery. Many changes associated with inactivity begin developing long before major strength loss becomes obvious externally. The body continuously adapts to repeated levels of demand, and reduced muscle activities changes the signaling environment the system receives over time. The body continuously adapts to the types of physical demands it experiences repeatedly over time. Active muscles provide ongoing biochemical and mechanical signals that communicate continued need for strength, movement capacities, energy regulation, recovery, and adaptation across multiple systems. These repeated signaling patterns help coordinate how the body allocates resources and maintains physiological functions connected to movements and resilience. Adaptation, therefore, depends not only on isolated exercise sessions, but on the overall signaling environment created by repeated activity patterns over time. The body is constantly interpreting whether physical capacity is still required based on recurring biological demands. Active muscles communicate that continued capability remains necessary. Reduced demands gradually change how the system prioritizes maintenance, recovery, and long-term adaptation processes throughout the body. Modern biology increasingly shows that muscles function as far more than structures responsible only for movements and force production. Active muscles continuously release signaling molecules that influence metabolism, inflammatory regulation, immune activities, brain adaptation, recovery processes, and physiological resilience throughout the body. Myokines, metabolic signaling, immune coordination, and movement-related adaptations all contribute to how muscles participate in whole-body communication systems connected to survival and long-term functions. The body constantly interprets repeated physical demands through these signaling processes and adjusts adaptation accordingly over time. This changes how movements and strength are understood biologically. Active muscles are not only producing external movements, they are continuously communicating information that influences regulation, adaptation, and coordination across multiple interconnected systems throughout the body.